Hi ladies, Jessica Blodgett here. I'm an exclusive Black Status presenter with Younique, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about highlighting and contouring. Now, there's a lot of videos out there with highlighting and contouring tips and tricks. I'm going to show you my routine because it's a little bit different than the ones that I've seen. Now, the reason being is because I have problem skin. I've always had it ever since I was a teenager. And what that means for me is I tend to have oily skin. It's combination skin, but it's more oily than it is dry. With that, I also have large pores. And in order for me to get that matte finish and the look that I really want, I have to use our Glorious Face and Eye Primer. This stuff is absolutely fabulous. This, I've never used primer before until I became a presenter with Younique, and that was my problem. I really needed to use primer. This primer right here is amazing. It's $39 and it lasts forever. I had my first tube for almost 11 months, so it was really worth the buy. But basically, I have to use this to kind of fill in my large pores to give me that matte finish at the end. Now, a lot of people when they highlight and contour, they use our BB creams, but they use several different colors. I personally don't like that look on me because I have to wear the primer, and I find that when I wear the primer and then the BB cream on top, my face gets a little too oily, a little too shiny later in the day, and I like more of that matte finish. So I'm going to show you how I do it a little bit differently. It may not be perfect, but it's what works for me, so it might work for you too. So let's get started. I put my face primer on before I started this video. I just put it everywhere. I even put it on my eyelids, and I wanted to let it sit and dry for a second before I start with my first product. The products that I'm going to use, I'll show you everything that I've got. I'm going to use our Touch Foundation, the cream and matching pressed powder. I personally use Velour. I'll probably go up to Taffeta for summer, but that's what I like to use. I have a lot of red in my skin, and I find that the little bit of yellow that this coloring has kind of balances my skin a little bit better. But you'll want to get color matched by your Younique presenter so that you can get the right color for you. Okay, so I use both of those products. I use our BB cream in cream, and this is the only BB cream I use. I don't use any other colors. I use this for highlighting. For contouring, I use our Moonstruck Mineral Concealer Powder, and I use it in the color Fierce. Now this looks super, super dark, and it is, but it works really, really well to contour, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And I also, for summertime, I use our Beachfront Bronzer. This also can give you a little bit of contouring. I like it a lot. I use the color Sunset. It's a little bit, I guess you could call it our lightest. So people with more fair skin, you would probably want to use Sunset. Okay, and then I also use my blending buds. I typically use my blending buds for the highlighting part because again, I only use BB cream for my highlighting. Okay, so I'm ready to get started. Like I said, I put on my face primer, I let that sit, I let that dry for a minute, and now I'm going to get started. And I actually start not with my BB cream, I start with our Touch Cream Foundation. So I use the sponge in my compact. And I just kind of work it through. Now the thing with this cream foundation, it's weightless. It does not feel like heavy makeup. I used to have to wear department store heavy makeup. It felt very cakey and didn't really make me look flawless. It just kind of covered, the acne or acne scars. I like this a lot better, and that's why I use it. You just kind of work it everywhere. And this kind of just gives you your foundation, your canvas, evens out my skin tones. You can see I was super red over here, and I have a little bit of a casting shadow, but you can see my blotchy redness. I have the large pores, and I have some acne scarring from when I was a teenager. but this helps. Don't forget to use the primer first though. And you want to work it all the way up into your hairline and into the front part of your ear. Make sure you are not creating a line. So really work that in, and around the jawline and under the chin, you really want to work it down. Now, if you want to get super fancy, you can do this all the way down your neck. Let's say you were doing something like a photo shoot, like, maybe if you're a bride or you wanted to get some headshots, you would probably want to do all the way down the neck like this, and you would also want to do around the top of your chest. Okay, so I start with the cream foundation, again, mineral. And now what I'm going to do is BB Flawless. Now I use our concealer brush just to kind of apply everything. I put some on my hands, and then I'll use my blending bud to blend. So I start with under the eye, and I make this triangle type of look, the shape. I don't worry too much about blending right now because I'll use my blending bud. And you can do like a really quick highlighting contour, or you can get really in-depth, get really fancy. The key with highlighting is you put this highlight color, I think I need a little bit more over here. You put this highlight color where you want the light to catch. So you saw that I put it on my chin. That part is going to stick out a little bit. I also am going to look a little bit tribal here in a second. Make a little bit of this inverted triangle. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going for a quick highlight and contour because no one wants to spend an hour on their makeup. But this is great for special occasions, or again, if you're going to get pictures done and you want to kind of shape your face a little bit. I'll also go about right here. Now see my cheekbones right here, and you're going to see what I do with my contouring. But I'll go about right here. And then I will do the same on this side. All that will get blended later. You do it down the nose. Again, the light will catch it. Now, if you have different kind of things that you want to cover when it comes to your nose, like if you have a divot, some bumping, kind of crooked, you can actually get super fancy and make it look straight. It'll help in person, but it also look really good on camera. It just takes a lot of practice. Well, not a lot of practice, but practice. Okay, so that's my highlighting part. So I'll take my blending bud, and I'm not going to go like this. I'm not gonna sweep it across. I more dab it in, and dab it upward. And you're not gonna go everywhere. I'm not gonna blend it into all parts of my skin, just keeping those shapes that I created. And people with contacts like myself, just be careful. You don't want to poke yourself in the eye with the blending bud, but these are awesome. Oh, I love these blending buds. I know that you can get them anywhere, but I really, really love ours. And I can blend a few times throughout this whole process, so it doesn't have to be right now. Okay, And so that's my quick highlighting. And remember, I started with the primer. I did our cream foundation, and then I did our BB Flawless cream and the color cream. It's our lightest color. And I really recommend that color pretty much for anyone when they want to highlight. Okay, so when it comes to contouring, this is the fun / scary part. You can use really whatever brush you want to, but remember, I contour with our Moodstruck Concealer Powder in Fierce, and I kind of use a couple different brushes just because of different areas that I want to contour. So I actually will use our Deluxe brush for around the nose, and I will use our blusher brush because of this fabulous angle, and I'll do that for my cheek areas and just larger areas like around my forehead and stuff. So I'm going to start with around the eyes and nose. I'm getting a little bit on the brush. If I feel like there's too much on there, which can happen, I just kind of press into this to kind of loosen that out. You can also go on your hand and get some of that excess out. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is at the end of my eyebrow here and down. See how that casts a shadow? That's what we want. Again, this is a very quick way of doing some contouring. I'm not an expert by any means. I've just done a lot of practicing, watching different YouTube videos and such, and using all the Younique products because it's my profession now. So I want to get it right, and so many people ask me about it that I want to make sure that I do a video for you so that you can kind of see what works for me. Okay, so I did around there, and I have a little bit more on my brush because I would like to do a couple more areas. Sorry, I have some fuzz there. One thing that you can contour is things like double chin. You can cast a shadow. So I'll put a little bit there. I will blend later. And now I'm going to use my blusher brush. So take my blusher brush. Remember that sharp angle is really great for getting around and making that perfect cheekbone look. Put a little bit into the lid, and I kind of work it and press it down in there. You don't want a whole lot of loose because then it'll get real crazy. And you start up at the hairline and make a line. Okay, so you can see that side. Get a little bit more for the other side. Now remember, I highlighted about here, and I may go back and see what that looks like depending. But I go all the way up to the hairline to the front part of the ear, make a line. So now you can see there's kind of this beginning of a shadow, creating this really great defined cheekbone. That's what you want. And then the last part that I want to do is my forehead. I have a little bit of a larger forehead, just a little bit taller. So if you want to shrink the length a little bit without bangs, you can contour. Again, up into your hair. I know that seems weird, like why would I put makeup in my hair? It's okay. Good thing that it's mineral, right? So I kind of do that, and there we go. I look ridiculous, right? Okay, now it's all about blending. And first, I'm definitely going to blend with my blusher brush just to kind of get any excess off that I need to. Okay, so this, I went like this before. Now what I want to do, make sure my angle is up here, and I want to go up and down. Just blending. And you really want to blend because where I highlighted, we don't want a line there. We want to blend. Okay, again, that angle. Up and down, up and down, up and down. And I only go till about right here, the end of my eye. And you can kind of see that look. Blend my chin to create that shadow. And then I blend in here. And then I'll go back and blend in a moment. So that's part one. I'm about to do part two. I have a baby crying, so I'm gonna go get her and I'll do part two in a few moments. Thanks.